Welcome back everyone to another day in quarantine. I think I'm on day number 9. Safe to say they're blurring together and I can't exactly remember what day I'm up to. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am ironing my shirt right now. And you might wonder, why am I ironing my shirt? This iron isn't very hot. You might wonder why I'm ironing my shirt. And that's a fair question. I kind of am wondering that myself. Basically, I am getting bored out of my brain. I juggle every day still, and I'm getting better at juggling 4 balls. Didgeridoo practice is coming along. I can make much better sounds than I could, but I still can't circular breathe at all. That's kind of my sticking point right now. Rubik's Cube, I guess I've practiced quite a few times now, and I can solve like the front face and the first row. I can kind of do that repeatedly as much as I want, so now I have to graduate to the next step. Hula hoop I haven't really been using much. Same goes for the skipping rope. I don't know, they don't interest me very much. So I started looking around my room. I opened every single cupboard and cabinet and drawer, and I found some things to play with that I didn't even know were in here. In one of them, I found an iron and an ironing board. And when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, that's silly. I'm not going to go near that. But the more I thought about it, the more it got me wondering, when was the last time I ironed a shirt on an ironing board? The life of an overlander, I guess we don't often iron our clothes, or dare I say, I hardly ever iron my clothes. My last engineering job, which I started in 2011, I never had to wear a shirt and tie to work. So I didn't actually iron my clothes for that job. It was, business casual, I guess, and we never had customers on site or anything like that. So I'm thinking the last time I ironed a shirt was probably before 2011. Actually, probably my brother's wedding, which I think was early 2015. Yeah, Easter 2015, probably I ironed the shirt I wore to my brother's wedding. So it's been 6 years since I ironed a shirt, still not hot enough. And I'm wondering if I remember how to do it. My dad taught me how to do this back my very first job ever. I worked at a Safeway. I was in the meat department. Sunday mornings, I used to go in and make all of the ground meat or the hamburger meat. And then after school in the afternoons, I think it was like 4 till 6 p.m. or something like that, or 6 till 7 maybe, or 6 till 9. I used to go and clean up the meat department. So like hose down all the surfaces, scrub the benches, scrub the big bandsaw. That was my first ever job. I think I started on like $6 or $7 an hour or something. Double that on Sundays and double that again on public holidays, stat holidays. But anyway, I was wondering if I remember how to iron a shirt. And as you can see, it's keeping me entertained here for a solid 10 minutes, which I guess when you're locked in a hotel room, 10 minutes of entertainment is a good thing. But anyway, over the last 24 hours, I have in fact watched Back to the Future. I watched number 1, and of course I loved it more than I remember. So then I went and I just watched number 2 as well. And so I've got 3 queued up for tonight. And it was really funny while watching Back to the Future. It brought back a lot of great memories. Such a fun, just, adventure. Friends, Doc and Marty, they're seriously different in age, but it's obviously like a buddy movie where they really miss each other and they hug and they get sad when they think they're not going to see each other again and all that stuff. And it got me remembering a lot about when I was growing up and thinking about why I set out on these kinds of mega adventures. This is the 3rd time in my life now that I've quit my perfectly good life, living, I could have easily just kept living where I was and had a really good life. There's nothing wrong with what I had going on, but I've decided for whatever reason to sort of set out and, I'm going to live in a car for a year and a half again. It's not going to be luxurious. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be warm and dry and easy. Sometimes people ask me, why do I do that? What is it about my personality or what kind of drives me or motivates me to do these kinds of things? And when I started thinking about it in the context of Back to the Future, and movies like Back to the Future, I guess, all those kinds of ones from like the late 80s that I grew up with as a kid, I think somewhere along the line when I was growing up, I watched movies like that and I read books like that too, really, really great adventure books, where people were having these like life scale adventures. They were going to these exotic locations, they were meeting people, Even Indiana Jones is a great example. Going and seeing parts of the world and languages and food and culture and people wearing different clothes and like all of this kind of, it was all so exciting. It was also interesting. I was captivated by all of it. And even watching Back to the Future again, I could tell I was captivated by it again. And I think fundamentally, I think that's why I set out on these big adventures. I think it actually, there's something about my personality where maybe I was brainwashed, maybe I'm a little bit naive, maybe I'm just a little bit kind of simple almost to believe this idea that these massive adventures are actually within reach and they're within grasp. And, you know, if I want to hike up to Everest Base Camp, like I can totally achieve that goal. Or if I want to, you know, hike some crazy high alpine circuit in Peru, I can go and do that. Or, you know, trek through the jungles of the Congo looking for gorillas. Like, these all seem kind of almost impossible for a small town boy from Australia, but somehow I just believed it. I don't actually know why. I can't say why I believed it, but I believed it. And the more I thought about it when I was awake at 3 o'clock this morning again, the more I realized that's actually what drives me to do these big trips, is this kind of belief or this idea that I want to have these massive adventures in my life. And, you know, like living a stable life, having a nice house, having a couch you can sit on in the evenings, you know, really nice food and drinks and all the luxuries that we have now in our lives. I like those things. They're good. I enjoy them. But they don't complete me, I guess is the easiest way to say it. They're not actually what I'm aiming to do with my life. They're not actually what I want. They're almost like a distraction, or they're almost like sort of a comfort that tempts me to not push my limits and not go and have these big adventures and go and seek out more exotic stuff. So the next time I'm on a podcast, or maybe in my upcoming book that I'll be writing about this trip, maybe I'm going to talk a bit about why I have these adventures. What is it that actually motivates me and drives me? You know, instead of putting a deposit on a house, I went and drove down to Argentina for 2 years, you know. Second time, instead of doing that, I drove all the way around Africa. And now here I am again, getting ready to drive all the way around Australia. And I think it's fun to think about the whys of what I do. And it's fun to try and explain it, because it helps me dig a bit deeper and try to understand it. So, success, I would call that a reasonably well-ironed pair of pants ready to go. Maybe I'll wear those when I finally spring from this joint. And a shirt that's probably less wrinkly than it's ever been. Although I forgot to do the sleeves. And the iron wasn't super duper hot, so it actually is still a bit wrinkly. But that's been a really great way to burn 10 minutes. And I guess the day is winding on, so that's a good thing. Day number 9 is coming to a close, and I'm slowly getting there. The nurses said today again, yep, COVID test on day 12. I just applied. You have to get a government permit to be allowed to fly from this state of New South Wales down to the state of Victoria. I have to actually have permission from the police, and it's like a special thing I have to print out and carry with me. I have that approval now, so that's good. I can fly down to my brother's house, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a vehicle waiting for me when I get there. It should be ready, or it'll be ready within a week of me arriving. A vehicle that I can outfit and then set out to drive all the way around Australia. So all the plans are coming together. It's all happening. In the meantime, I just have to spend another, 5 days in here, 4 sleeps, and then I'll spring out of this joint. Looks like too, I'm going to have some time when they spring me. I don't have to go straight to the airport. So I might actually go for a walk around Sydney, because I've only ever done that once or twice in my entire life. I've never lived in Sydney. I don't know the city at all. But where I'm standing right now is only about a 10-minute walk from the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House and kind of, like famous Sydney. So I figure I'll walk over there and have a look. So as you can tell, I'm already looking forward to that. Fingers crossed it'll be a sunny day and I'll get some sun on my face and some fresh air and maybe buy some street food for lunch. So yeah, I'm already dreaming of getting out of here, what that's going to look like. In the meantime, I'm probably not going to iron any more clothes, let's be honest. So, day 9, thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.